By courtesy of Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, we bring you our SHS2 Core Mathematics program. I am Betty. In our previous lesson, we began a new topic, mensuration. We learned about how to calculate the length of an arc of a circle. Today, we will learn about perimeter of plane figures. Now, in this lesson, you'll be able to calculate the perimeter of plane figures. Now, you may ask, what is a plane figure? Well, the top of a table can be thought of as a plane figure. An object that is drawn on a plane is also called a plane figure. The perimeter measures the boundaries of a figure. And the perimeter of a plane figure is the total distance around the plane figure. So in finding the perimeter of a plane figure, we simply find the sum of the lengths of all the sides. We are going to begin with a square. A square is a four-sided plane figure with all its sides equal in length. I'm sure you can see the diagram. You have the length of AB to be equal to the length of BC to be equal to the length of CD to be equal to the length of AD. And all of them are L centimeters. To find the perimeter of the square, we add all the four sides. So we get L plus L plus L plus L, and that gives us 4L. Let's look at a specific example. It says find the perimeter of a square with side 5 centimeters. So like we said earlier, the perimeter of the square will be the sum of all the sides. So we have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 centimeters, which is the same as 4 times 5 centimeters or 20 centimeters. That's very easy, isn't it? Now, this is what we are going to do to calculate the perimeters of all the plane figures. We just add all the lengths together and we get our answer. So let's look at the rectangle. The rectangle is also a plane figure with two opposite sides that are equal in length. And so the perimeter of the rectangle is given by L plus B plus L plus B. And that gives us 2L plus 2B. Or sometimes we write that as 2 into brackets L plus B. A specific example. It says find the perimeter of a rectangle with length 12 centimeters and breadth 4 centimeters. You can draw a little diagram to help you. So the perimeter will be equal to 12 plus 4 plus 12 plus 4, which is the same as 2 times 12 plus 2 times 4. And that gives us 32 centimeters. Another plane figure is the triangle. Now, to find the perimeter of the triangle, we will add up the lengths of the three sides. So, supposing we say the lengths of the triangle are A, B, and C, then the perimeter will be equal to A plus B plus C. Remember, A, B, C are the lengths of the sides of your triangle. Again, let's look at another specific example. It says, find the perimeter of an equilateral triangle with sides 4 units. Equilateral triangle. That means that all the sides are the same length. So the perimeter will be 4 plus 4 plus 4 centimeters. That gives us 12 centimeters for our answer. Then a circle. A circle is also a plane figure. The perimeter of a circle is the distance around the circumference. You remember we met that in our last lesson. So the circumference is given by 2 times pi times r. And the perimeter of a semicircle will be given by the diameter of the circle plus the semi or half of the circle or half of the arc length. Let's look at an example. It says, find the length of the circumference of a circle with diameter 21 centimeters. And then it says, find also the perimeter of the semicircle of this circle if it is cut off. And take pi to be equal to 22 over 7. So first we will find the circumference. The circumference is given by pi d, or 2 times pi times r. And that becomes 22 over 7 times the diameter, which is 21 centimeters. Now, in this case, you can cancel the 21 and the 7, and you get 22 times 3. That gives us 66 centimeters. Now, the length of an arc of a semicircle will be half of the full circle. So that gives us pi d over 2, which is 66 divided by 2, and that is 33 centimeters. So half of that circle will be 33 centimeters. But the perimeter of the semicircle when it is cut off will be the length of the straight part, the diameter, plus the length of the arc. And that gives us 21 plus 33. So our answer will be 54 centimeters. Now we want to go on and look at the perimeter of sectors. Now anytime we draw 2 radii from the center of a circle, it divides the circle into a major and a minor sector, as you can see in the diagram. Now, O is the center of the circle. So, OA is equal to OB because both of them are radii in the same circle with radius r. The length of the minor arc, AB, we are going to call S. So, the perimeter of the minor sector, which from the diagram is OAS, B, will be equal to R plus S plus R, which is the same as 2R plus S. Now let's look at one specific example. The question says the radius of a circle is 7 centimeters. The length of an arc of this circle is 11 centimeters. Find the perimeter of the sector formed by this arc. Now from the question, our radius r is 7 centimeters. The length of our arc, which is S, is 11 centimeters. Now the perimeter of the sector, we said, is 2r plus S. So we would have to multiply 2 by the radius, which is 7, plus 11, which is the length of the arc. That gives us 14 centimeters plus 11 centimeters, and we get 25 centimeters. Similarly, the perimeter of the major sector, which is OACB, will be equal to R plus C plus R. And that will be 2R plus C. I'm sure you note the difference. Good. Now we want to find the perimeter of segments. The circle, you can see, is divided into two segments, the minor segment and the major segment. I'm sure you can see it in the diagram. Now the perimeter of the minor segment is ASB, and that is the length of AB plus S. In a circle, it is given that the length of the chord AB is equal to 16 centimeters. And the length of the arc ASB is equal to 13 centimeters. The question says, find the perimeter of the minor segment. Let's look at the solution. To find the perimeter of the minor segment, ASB, will be equal to the length of AB plus S. And that gives us 16 centimeters plus 13 centimeters, which gives us an answer of 29 centimeters. Again, in example 7, we have the radius of a circle to be 8 centimeters. It says that the angle subtended by the arc of the circle at the center is 116 degrees. The question says, find A, the length of the arc, B, the length of the chord AB of the sector, C, the perimeter of the sector, and D, the perimeter of the segment. And it says take pi to be 22/7. Shall we look at the solution? I'm sure you can see the diagram. Now from the question, our radius is 8 centimeters. Our angle at the center is 116 degrees. And we are to find first the length of the arc, which is S. So remember, to find the length of the arc, we are going to have theta over 360 times 2 times pi times r. Now our theta is 116 degrees. So we have 116 divided by 360 times 2 times pi, which is 22/7, times the radius, which is 8 centimeters. Now that becomes 116 times 16 times 22, all divided by 360 times 7. And when you work that out, you get 16.2031746 centimeters. And that answer is simply 16.20 to 2 decimal places. In the B part of the question, since the length OA is equal to the length OB, and both of them are the radii of the circle, we will say that triangle AOB is isosceles. Now we have to find the length of the chord AB. So what do? We draw a perpendicular from O to bisect the line AB at M. Now this perpendicular will also divide the angle AOB into 2 equal parts. And that means that it divides 116 into 2 parts. So we get half of the angle to be 58 degrees. So the length OA is 8 centimeters. AB is equal to AM plus MB. And also AM is equal to MB. I'm sure as I go on, you'll be looking at your triangle and getting exactly what we are referring to. So from triangle OAM, that means we are taking just one part of our diagram. We will use trigonometry and try to find the length of AM. So we'll have sine 58 degrees to be equal to the length of AM divided by 8. Now, if we make AM the subject, we get sine 58 times 8 centimeters. Working that will give you 0.8480 times 8 centimeters. And that gives you an answer of 6.784 centimeters. I hope you know we learnt all the trig ratios earlier on. Now, since AB is equal to AM plus MB, we have AB to be equal to 6.784 plus another 6.784, or 6.784 times 2. And that gives us 13.568 centimeters. Now, in the C part of the question, the perimeter of the sector will be equal to 2r plus s. So we multiply 2 by the radius and add the length of the arc. So that gives us 2 times 8 plus 16.2032, which is 16 plus 16.2032. And our answer is 32.20 to 2 decimal places. Now, the D part of the question says, find the perimeter of the segment. Remember, perimeter is the distance around the segment. And that will be equal to the length of the chord AB plus the length of the arc ASB. So the length of the chord AB is 13.5686 plus the length of the arc, which is 16.2032. When we add these two, we'll get our answer, which is 29.77 centimeters to 2 decimal places. I hope you understand this question. We want to take another plane figure. Now, we can find the perimeter of other plane figures like the parallelogram, the triangle, the trapezoid, the rhombus, and the rest. And this time we want to find the perimeter of a trapezium or a trapezoid. Now, as you can see in the diagram, the trapezium has 4 straight sides. So again, we just add the lengths of all the 4 sides. So the perimeter of this trapezium will be equal to 9.6 plus 4.7 plus 5.2 plus 4.7 centimeters. And that gives us 24.2 centimeters. Example 9 says, find the perimeter of the following parallelogram. I'm sure you can see the figure. Now, in a parallelogram, any 2 opposite sides are equal and parallel. So to find the perimeter, we will add 21 and 21 and 25 and 25. And that gives us 2 times 21 plus 2 times 25. And our answer is 92 millimeters. If you look at the diagram, you'll find that there's a perpendicular height, which is 23 millimeters. But we did not use this to work our question because it is not one of the borders of our shape. Now we want to look at example 10. It says, find the perimeter of the figure shown. I'm sure you can see the figure. Now, this diagram is a composite figure. In other words, two plane figures have been put together or drawn together. We call them composite figures. Now, in this case, the figure is made up of a rectangle and a triangle. The perimeter gives the total distance along the borders. But you have to be careful which lengths you are adding together. So the perimeter here will be equal to 15 plus 9 plus another 9 plus 2 root 2 plus another 2 root 2 centimeters. We add all the numbers together and then we add the square root numbers together. So that gives us 33 plus 4 root 2 centimeters. You can leave your answer like that. Good. Now, in this lesson, we have learned so much. We said the perimeter measures the boundaries of a figure. We learned that the perimeter of any plane shape is the total distance around the plane figure. We said that to find the perimeter of any plane figure, add the various components of the sides. Well, this brings us to the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we will learn how to calculate the area of sectors and segments. Remember to join us, but take your time and work through all the examples in this lesson. And be sure to join me for another interesting lesson. Bye-bye.